Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news all right. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could be a game changer for the Falcons and the entire NFC South. Rumors are swirling and sources close to NFL.com and insiders like Rossini are revealing that the New York Giants are seriously considering trading their star defensive tackle, Dexter Lawrence, to Atlanta. That's right, Dexter Lawrence, the implacable giant, could be headed straight to Atlanta, and if this deal goes through, it could reshape the division and set the Falcons up for a serious push towards the Super Bowl. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would the Giants, a team that's been trying to rebuild and get their cap straightened out, consider parting ways with a player like Lawrence? Well, it's all about cap flexibility and strategic moves. The Giants are sitting on about $15 million in cap space, but they're also in need of bolstering their offensive line and extending some key players like Thibodeaux. With the NFL's financial landscape shifting post-4th of November, the Giants are eyeing ways to free up cash, and trading Lawrence could be part of that plan. The report suggests that the Giants might be willing to send Lawrence to Atlanta in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2027 draft, along with a reserve defensive tackle. This move would give New York a significant cap boost, around $22 million, while Atlanta gets a dominant force on the interior line. And let's talk about the type of player the Falcons would be getting in Dexter Lawrence, because he's not just any defensive tackle. At 28 years old, Lawrence is in the prime of his career, having built a reputation as one of the most unstoppable forces on the field. Over his 7 seasons in the league, he's amassed 28 sacks, 150 tackles for loss, and has been a consistent disruptor in the trenches. His PFF grade hovers around 95, which speaks volumes about his impact on every snap he plays. Lawrence has been selected to 3 Pro Bowls, and he's proven time and time again that he can anchor a defensive line and make life miserable for quarterbacks and running backs alike. In recent seasons, Lawrence has been a key piece of the Giants' defense, especially in 2024, where he recorded 9 sacks and maintained a PFF rating of 91.8. His win rate in 2024 was impressive at 29%, and he's been a nightmare for offensive lines, with 110 QB hits over his career and a double-team rate of about 42%. Not to mention, he's been remarkably healthy, avoiding major injuries since a groin strain in 2023. His ability to generate pressure and stuff the run makes him a perfect fit for a Falcons defense that's looking to take a leap forward. Atlanta's interior defensive line has been solid, but needs that extra disruptive presence to push the team over the top. Now, why would the Falcons be willing to part with some draft picks for a player like Lawrence? Well, the Falcons have been building their defense with a clear focus on disruption and playmaking. Adding Lawrence would immediately boost their interior D-line, potentially adding about 8 more sacks over the course of the season and reducing the yards allowed on the run by around 12%. That's significant because Atlanta's run defense has been a strength, but with Lawrence anchoring the middle, that strength becomes even more formidable. Couple that with the already solid presence of David Onyemata, who's put up 3 sacks in 2025 with a PFF grade of 83.4, and you've got a defensive front that's capable of wreaking havoc on opposing offenses. Imagine how this would impact Atlanta's overall defensive strategy. With Lawrence occupying multiple blockers, the Falcons could generate even more pressure on opposing quarterbacks, forcing turnovers and creating scoring opportunities. His ability to generate pressure, an average of 0.9 sacks per game in recent seasons, would make life miserable for opponents, especially within an NFC South that's been known for its offensive fireworks. Think about the potential of forcing more turnovers. Last season, Lawrence's presence helped generate 4 additional turnovers and cut down points against by about 5 per game, bringing it from roughly 25 down to 20. That level of defensive improvement could be the difference in close games, especially as Atlanta looks to solidify its position among the league's top defenses. And the timing couldn't be better for the Falcons. They're already riding high with a solid offensive unit led by Drake London, who's been a reliable target, although his injury question mark from the knee has been a concern. Still, the Atlanta offense has been averaging around 23 points per game, but has the potential to push that number even higher, especially with a more disruptive defense backing them up. With Lawrence's addition, the Falcons could see their defense become a true strength, freeing up more opportunities for their offense to control the game and extend drives. The offensive line has been solid, but with the interior linemen like Zach Harrison, who's currently on IR with a knee injury, and the question marks surrounding London's health, Atlanta needs to ensure their defense is an anchor, not an Achilles heel. Now, let's consider the bigger picture: Super Bowl odds. If this trade materializes, it could skyrocket Atlanta's chances of making a deep playoff run. Right now, the Falcons sit at +10, 0 odds to win the Super Bowl. But if Lawrence becomes part of the squad, those odds could tighten significantly, possibly dropping to around +3, 500. That's a huge jump, and it's not just about the regular season. It's about the Falcons positioning themselves as serious contenders for the Lombardi Trophy. Their NFC odds could also see a boost, moving from +50 to +1, 500, especially with Lawrence disrupting offenses like the Bucs, who have been vulnerable on their offensive line with an NFL PFF grade of 82.0. His presence would echo the impact of players like Suh in 2020, who turned the tide in crucial moments and increased the win probability by around 10%. What makes this move even more exciting is the potential for the Falcons to become a true force in the NFC, especially if they can leverage Lawrence's disruptive ability to generate pressure and force turnovers. With the NFL's emphasis on pass rush and interior disruption, having a player like Lawrence would be a huge asset. His ability to collapse the pocket, force quarterbacks into tough throws, and stop the run could elevate Atlanta's defense from a good unit to a dominant one that opponents fear every week. This, combined with the team's offensive improvements and strategic additions, could finally put Atlanta back in the Super Bowl conversation after years of rebuilding. Of course, there are skeptics. Some might argue that giving up a first-round pick in 2027 and a reserve defensive tackle is too steep for a player who is, after all, 28 years old. But the Falcons are in a window where they need to strike now. With Desmond Ridder developing at quarterback and the offense showing promise, adding a player of Lawrence's caliber on the defensive line could be the missing piece to unlock their full potential. It's about building a team that can compete now and sustain success for years to come, and Lawrence could be the catalyst for that. In the end, it's all about the vision. The Falcons are aiming for a Super Bowl run, and acquiring Dexter Lawrence could be the pivotal move to turn that vision into reality. His experience, talent, and disruptive presence make him a perfect fit for Atlanta's defensive scheme, especially as they look to solidify their spot among the league's elite. The NFC South is evolving, and the Falcons are positioning themselves at the forefront of that change. If this trade goes through, you can bet that the entire league will be watching, and Falcons fans should be excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. This isn't just a rumor. It's a signal that Atlanta is serious about competing at the highest level, and with Lawrence in the middle of that defense, the sky's the limit. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So Falcons fans, what do you think about this potential blockbuster? Would you welcome Dexter Lawrence with open arms? How much do you think he could change the trajectory of our team this season? I want to hear your thoughts, your predictions, and your excitement. The truth is, this move could be the spark that elevates Atlanta to new heights, making us real contenders in the NFC and beyond. With a strong defense led by Lawrence and an offense that's already showing promise, the Falcons could be on the verge of something special. Keep your eyes peeled, because if this trade happens, it's going to be one of the biggest stories of the NFL season. And I'll be right here, breaking it all down for you, because that's what Falcons fans do. We stay informed, we stay passionate, and we keep dreaming about that Super Bowl victory. So stay tuned, keep the faith, and let's get ready for an exciting ride ahead. Because if there's one thing we know, it's that the Atlanta Falcons never back down from a challenge, and with players like Dexter Lawrence potentially joining us, we're about to make some serious noise in the league.